Hello, I'm Chylli from Channel Chylli, also known as Try, and we are finally getting into the last module here, which isn't actually an official module. That is a fan-made module, and the only one that is currently in English, so... The Enigmatic Vessel. For countless centuries, mankind has gazed upon the stars above, pondering the distant realms between the far-off constellations. And now, as a deep space engineer, you have come to know that the cosmos hides crises. Unspoken horror stir between those stars waiting to strike. The story begins with a derelict vessel in the void. And we only get to bring one person with us this time. I believe this one is a text-based module. In the 26th century, with the widespread use of deep space engines, distant star clusters that once took centuries to reach are now only 4 nap away. Humanity is in the midst of another wave of star colonization, confederation, a political entity representing the majority of human civilization. I did not mean to click through that. We are going to reload really quickly. By the 29th century, the Confederation had expanded its influence over much of the galaxy. The exploration of hyperspace routes and various star domains relies heavily on an organization under its jurisdiction, the Engineers Association. An official organization mainly composed of spaceship engineers and deep space explorers tasked with coordinating the Confederation's deep space exploration efforts. You and your wife, Avril, are both members, with Avril frequently embarking on missions to deep space. 3 weeks ago, when you learned of an incident involving your wife's exploration mission, you tried to contact the Space Accident Sector for rescue, but the long paperwork and bureaucracy delays pushed you to your breaking point. As a senior deep space engineer, you secretly requisitioned an old shuttle to initiate a rescue mission. After hearing about it, your old friend Randy, a mercenary from the Hades mercenary group, immediately contacted you and offered to join. You accepted his help and set off. Now the shuttle has docked and you're preparing for the final boarding preparations in the rest area. You have no idea what your beloved wife is facing. All you can do is take deep breaths, pacing around the rest area to calm your nerves. You go over the information you have, realizing that the journey ahead will be difficult, but there's no turning back. This is an old shuttle you secretly acquisitioned. Although it underwent emergency repairs before departure, it's barely functional. To conserve energy and reduce the load, the entire shuttle is now idling at low power. The lights in the rest area are dimmed to the lowest setting. You open the storage box, revealing weapons, equipment, and supplies you once carried as a military engineer. You thought you'd never need them again. A rail pistol lies on the box, its dark body reassuring, and an ion sword hilt reflects the dim light nearby. During the trip, Randy checked them over, ensuring they're as reliable as when they were first made. Alright, let's see here. It does spell damage, so we probably do want to keep it on us at least. So we're gonna want to build up to 25 materials so we can build ourselves our brass knuckles. You pull a photo from your chest pocket, a picture of you and your wife. In the photo, you're both tightly embraced, eyes filled with happiness, and the last message she left you is a coordinate signal. Looking at the photo of your beloved, you feel the sweet memories of the past and the bitterness of the present. Seeing your furrowed brow, Andy rises and walks toward you. His strong arm rests on your shoulder, and he gently turns you toward him. Hey, listen, she might just be stuck somewhere unable to send a signal. You know, sometimes a mercenary may be left alone on a derelict vessel for weeks. It's pretty common. What we need to do now is find her and get out of this wreck. Randy, you know I'm a deep space engineer, and boarding and exploring vessels is one of the riskiest missions. I fear the outcome is exactly what I anticipated. Maybe I should pray for a miracle. Take it easy, buddy. Everyone's waiting for you. The docking process has already started. Let's go. Don't forget this. Civilian grade energy shield. I feel like your mythical item is the better one to have right now. You look at the porthole. The strange vessel is getting bigger. As details become clearer, you realize it doesn't belong to any Confederation model. A suppressed buzzing sound reaches your ears. At that moment, the mysterious vessel before you bursts with an eerie glow. The glow does not see a shadow engulfing the entire vessel. The shadow rises and twists, almost as if it's devouring the vessel itself. A sharp pain shoots through your head. After a sudden dizziness, you stabilize yourself, but when you look again, the vessel is still calmly suspended in void. The whole thing might have been a hallucination. You shake your head, trying to dispel the strange vision. Randy decides that it's time to board. With a slight vibration, the shuttle's AI has located and docked with the vessel. The hatch opens, revealing a large, dark, and oppressive chamber that makes your nerves tense again. You grip your weapon tightly and enter the vessel with Randy. You enter the vessel, stepped into the docking bay. There's only darkness. You and Randy simultaneously activated the lights. After checking, you had a rough understanding of the room's layout. A hollow black cylinder with a movable platform at the base. Adjusting your light, you notice what appears to be electric screens inside, and you theorize it could be some kind of lift. Randy, this vessel's structure doesn't match any Confederation registered models. Be cautious. Got it, stay in my line of sight. Time passed and your desire to find your wife grew stronger. Given the room's size, you and Randy decide to split up. You found an instrument storage box labeled Alpha Deep Space Exploration, a well-known deep space company where your wife Avril worked for. Inside, there are some redundant parts and miscellaneous items. Okay, so it looks about like a shotgun. After much searching through a pile of debris, you only find some metal parts. Well, that's at least enough for crafting, so let's get on with that. Okay, that one's not too bad at least. You saw a Confederation survey device, realizing your wife had been here and decided to check it. What puzzled you was that despite your wife sending the coordinates over a week ago, the device still had a full charge. You knew that even in standby mode, such instruments consumed a fair amount of power. This was a standard Confederation survey device primarily used for material testing. Even in standby mode, such instruments consumed a fair amount of power. You carefully dismantled the device, removing the storage card after much effort. Randy, found anything? Not much, but there's a strange door, pretty tough. I tried breaking it down, but it barely budged. You look at the door Randy pointed to. Its semicircular structure seemed to be a mix of biofibers and crystals, with sensor-like nodes. After some thought, you used your engineering knowledge to try and open it. With effort, the door opened, revealing a new room. Did you notice the central column in the room? I think it's a lift system, but it lacks the means to activate it. If we want to explore the ship further, we'll have to find a way to activate it or look for another route. Alright, for now this seems to be the only way forward. Let's go. Hey, seems like it doesn't have a room description. You approach one of the devices, analyzing its structure. There's no protective casing. You can directly see the energy lines at transmission nodes. The materials resemble those of the door earlier. Judging by the dim lighting, it seems this device isn't operating properly and needs repairs. Some wires are disconnected, but the damage doesn't seem irreversible. It looks like a distribution box. You notice the wires are made of unfamiliar alien polymers, all of them show signs of light burnt marks. The vessel circuits seem overloaded, likely the power system, explaining why it's been stuck here for over a week. Maybe we could make something to fix it. You move to examine another device on the wall. A transparent crystal screen flickers faintly. The structure is made of dark purple material similar to the door's crystal nodes. Suggesting it operates through some method you'll have to figure out. The device seems undamaged, and its power might be an emergency backup capable of restoring some energy to the ship. You ask Randy for a redundant energy module from your power armor. After some efforts, you manage to get the control panel working. The panel flashes, and after a progress bar completes, the screen displays alien symbols. I've seen this style of writing before. Memories flood back, and your implanted memory quickly pulls up that relevant data. Found it. You recall seeing these symbols in Avril's notes during a past investigation. If I'm right, these symbols belong to an advanced species, the Yif. Oh me, we're going to be getting into the Yif, I suppose. Using a reference guide and the AI's assistance, he manages to set the control panel. In the center of the room stands a large inverted trapezoidal column covered with intricate laser-etched symbols. The symbols glow a faint indigo, flashing in a slow rate. At the base, the pattern leads to a dark red sensor symbol. The sensor detects significant energy readings. It might be a storage or reactor unit. You cautiously touch the red symbol, but step back quickly as the device's brightness intensifies. The glowing pulses increase, and you check your suit's meter. Radiation levels near overload. Seconds later, the device's glow turns dark red, accompanied by a few beeps, and everything falls silent. The reactor is still running but cannot transfer energy due to blocked circuits or a safety shutdown. You recheck your instruments and recall your training, processing the situation. To restore power to this area, repairing this device is the priority. Thank God we have enough to make some temporary cables. Oh, you can recharge these with batteries. That's really cool. As a deep space engineer, you've worked on alien tech before. Despite not recognizing the materials, you can bypass the original connections and reroute a similar one. With a mechanical noise, the lighting system in the chamber flickered back to life. The surrounding light is dim, likely due to the numerous adjustments you made to the circuits, which have reduced the device's efficiency. Overall, you and Randy successfully restored power to several compartments. Randy, we did it. However, our equipment isn't fully compatible with alien technology, so the energy efficiency and duration are uncertain. Alright, buddy, let's be quick. Alright then, let's use the lift then. You and Randy step into the lift at the center of the hole. The platform beneath your feet shakes as the elevator begins to rise. In the dim light, the surrounding black walls fade away and you're struck by a sharp headache and a buzzing sound as your vision starts to blur. Your mind goes hazy. It hurts. What happened? You woke up dizzy, shaking your head, but the headache worsened. You leaned on the wall and slowly stood up. After a few seconds, your vision cleared, but all you could see was endless white mist. Randy, goddamn, what the hell is this? You try to calm yourself, scanning the surroundings to figure out your location or find a way back. You step out of the lift and find yourself in a large chamber. The moment you enter, orange-red lights twist and flicker on the ceiling. The entire chamber is surrounded in a thick white mist. Fortunately for now, your breathing remains steady and the mist doesn't seem to have any effect. Even from 10 meters away, you can sense the faint blue glow emanating from the mist, slowly radiating outward. The energy glow is so dense that it forms a mist-like substance, flowing down the stairs and spreading across the entire chamber. You pace back and forth in the weird hall. Judging by the architecture, I must still be on that alien vessel. You notice shadowy and indistinct figures around you, their forms pitch black and no discernible features. You approach one of the shadows, but it remains unresponsive to your presence. Summoning your courage, you attempt to direct contact. However, when you reach out to the shadow, there's no sensation. It feels as if this is being a projection from another dimension, not interacting with your hand. These shadowy figures seem as if you recall the strange power readings from that device in the lower deck. It's as if everything here has been frozen. By the dim light, you can make out the layout of the hall. A stone obelisk stands in the center, surrounded by several low bowl-shaped devices. From the armrests and display arrangement, you deduce that these might be chairs. The walls of the hall are lined with more display devices, most of which are damaged or show only crimson error pop-ups. The few remaining functional. Playlist, I guess I should check out something else. You approach the triangular obelisk in the center of the room. It seems to trigger some sort of sensor, and the stone emits a faint blue glow. The intricate patterns on it pulse with energy. Your energy meter alerts you to ongoing fluctuations, but further analysis proves impossible. As you approach it, guided by the feeling, you step closer to the obelisk. Just as you reach out to touch it, a powerful force tugs at you, pulling you backward. A sharp pain strikes your head and your vision fades once again. Wake up, don't. It's not over, buddy. Wake up. You feel your consciousness being pulled back from the distant void. When you open your weary eyes, you see Randy faking your body beside you. Seeing you awake, he helps you sit up. Randy takes out a water bottle from his bag, hands it to you. You eagerly drink the cool liquid, feeling much more alert afterward. I think I just had a strange nightmare. Randy, well, I was unconscious. No, not like that. For a while, my consciousness found itself in a strange chamber. The architecture there was strikingly similar to the sailing vessel. I even wondered if I had somehow ended up in one of the uncharted sections of the ship. Understood, but during that time you were unconscious. I hope this isn't just a hallucination caused by too much stress. Let's check this room first, see if we can find a way to the next place. Alright. It didn't take long. Following one of the bats in the room, you found an exit leading to a distant light. There were boxes scattered across the road, forming a barricade, but you barely noticed them. Your eyes were almost drawn in, focusing instead on the figure of a person standing in the middle. Avril? You ran toward the figure, thinking it was your wife, but just as you reached out to touch her shoulder, a strong gust of wind hit. You took the strike, and when you lifted your head again, you saw an unbelievable sight. Avril's head was grotesquely twisted, with vines coiling and contorting beneath her exposed skin. Her face was deathly pale, as if she has been dead for a long time. "Come back to me," Avril muttered softly, and from the piles of boxes and debris, several figures crawled out, all charging toward you. As you continued to retreat, you saw Randy also being pushed back, surrounded by several frenzied figures. What the hell is going on with these things? Infected Confederate soldiers and researchers, it looks like. Wow, that was really good. You used everything to attack the enemies you could see. Your rail pistol, ion sword, everything you can use. As an engineer, you weren't skilled in combat, you just wanted to obliterate these creatures in front of you. You don't remember how many times you shattered and several limbs and heads. It wasn't until the last person lunged at you and you decapitated them that you finally paused for a moment. As the adrenaline began to wear off, you feel the searing pain in your limbs and all over your body from the wind. You stumbled and fell, but quickly got back up. You felt your legs lose all sensation, but you still crawled, dragging your body toward your wife. Her body was already shattered, the wind so severe you could no longer tell which blow had been the final one. "My partner, stay calm. We need to evacuate the vessel as quickly as possible." You didn't listen to Randy's words. Instead, you tightly embraced Avril's lifeless body, muttering something repeatedly. But all you felt from your beloved was the cold breath of death. Randy, seeing his repeated attempts failing, lets out a long sigh. He pulled a tranquilizer from his bag and without... Okay, so obviously you shot us with the tranquilizer. Randy... Buddy, I understand how you feel, but we need to figure out what happened. Why did these people turn into this, including Avril? You're right, I won't let a sacrifice be in vain. You struggle to regain your composure. With Randy's support, you stagger to your feet. You didn't say anything more. The scene before you began to. When you opened your mouth, no sound came out. Each step required you to recalibrate your balance. A few meters felt like crossing the boundary between life and death. As you stopped, it felt like your body was freed from something, and you sank to one knee. You lowered your head in silence for a few seconds, then began inspecting Avril's body. You examined the vine-like tissue covering your body, trying to steady your trembling hands. After using a sampling knife to take a portion, you place it into the sample analyzer. The biological hazard... This creature wasn't registered as a dangerous species in the Confederation's database? Strange. If I remember correctly, the starfield was marked as fully explored long ago. Its astronomical, geological, and biological data should have been recorded in archive. With this... So this creature only appeared on this vessel. What should we do next? It was a dark, endless corridor. Its structure formed in a octagonal, column-like passage. The walls bathed in darkness exude an ancient, silent aura. The end of the corridor was swallowed deep by darkness, making it impossible to glimpse what lay beyond. Though some remnants of the lighting system in the corridor still struggle to function, they seem no more than faint starlight in the endless void of space, barely able to outline the blurry shapes around you. Of course I'll say, I won't let Avril die without answers. Hang on. I want to get that ending before we continue onward. So, buddy, shall we? What else? What else? Avril is no more. Time to... You raise in silence, gently lifting Avril's lifeless body, wordlessly beginning the journey back. Randy shook his head, following behind you. In the long silence, he wept return to the old shuttle. It's over. You and Randy left the Enigmatic Vessel. With the communications restored, Randy quickly received a new mission call from the mercenary group. He drove the shuttle near the Mandeville Point, and Randy quickly transferred to the Hades mercenary group's patrol vessel and left in a hurry. Meanwhile, you silently piloted the vessel back to the Engineering Guild spaceport. After returning to Confederate territory, you quit your job as a deep space engineer and bought a small plot on a new colony. There you buried Avril under our favorite oak tree. Life must go on. Most days passed, one after another in the same rhythm, endlessly repeating. Just when you thought your life would continue on in its quiet routine, that eerie vessel began to haunt your nightmares once again. Even Avril, long dead, seemed to sometimes stand silently by your bedside. One night you were jolted awake by a nightmare, but this time was accompanied by excruciating pain, as something seemed to tear its way out of your body. You hurriedly turned on the light only to discover on your arm several greenish vines pulsed with a faint, eerie glow. And there we go, we got Randy as a partner now. In the end, you couldn't escape forever. You couldn't uncover the truth. But compared to Avril and the others who died without explanation, okay, that was a accidental double paste there, it looks like. At least you lived a little longer, didn't you? Give me a moment here, I want to look over something really quickly. Okay, so I want to do that and I want to see what those traits I got were. Because it seems like this ending gave us 2 new traits. We can skip and get back there fairly quickly. Little bit of healing every single turn. And get a little bit of extra willpower and dodge. Alright, and then we're just going to skip back through the module and get back there really quickly. Hopefully we can pass that dexterity check this time. At least our stats are really high, so we can pass most of these really easily. Now we're going to build the cables again. We are going to make a save right here. You narrowly dodged the strike, but when you look up again, you witness an unbelievable sight. Okay, so it's the exact same thing, just I don't take any damage at combat start. Okay, let's make another save now. Of course I'll stay. I won't let Avril die without answers. No matter what I face, the truth must be clear. Alright, this journey is fraught with danger, but I will always be with you. Entering the hall, you notice familiar furnishings, as if you'd been here before. But the shattered pedestal and scattered corpses, along with fungal masses, hinted at a violent conflict, unlike the previous room. You approach the destroyed security unit. Its external armor is shattered, revealing the exposed circuits and components inside. Green circulating fluid oozes from the damaged area. The mechanical limbs are twisted and broken, and the strange weapon in the mech's hands is bent and deformed, as if it lost. The Confederation definitely doesn't have this model of equipment, meaning its weapons can't be salvaged. However, if you can find the onboard data storage, it might be the last function. You successfully locate and pry open one of the wrecked mechs. Fortunately, your cutter stopped just short of the storage card, leaving the internal memory undamaged. Though the format may not be compatible, if the data is converted into basic electrical signals and restructured, it might yield some information. My analysis chamber should be able to handle that. No time to waste, do it right away. You gaze at the pile of bodies on the floor, the severed limbs and tangled flesh forming an indescribable scene at the stage of death. On some of the corpses, twisted fungal structures appear across the ravaged limbs while the blood-soaked ruins exude a nauseating, rancid odor. After a moment of mental struggle, you force yourself to look away, turning instead to examine the soldier-empowered combat suit whose death seemed. Several external auxiliary structures of the PCS, like the hydraulic assist systems, were damaged, but the critical energy and circulation systems remained mostly intact. Some PCS even only sustained minor collisions, which uneasily stirred something deep inside you once again. Buddy, this doesn't bode well. These people were in their armor up until the moment of death. Do you know what that means? Randy's words shock you. These power armors were built for vacuum units with perfect airtight seals. Just as you were about to inspect further, you notice that one of the figures switched. Hurry, Randy, stay away from those bodies. These spores, these creatures, not even full body protective suits can prevent infection, so why are Randy and I still unaffected? Randy, how do you think your powered combat suit to this device? Ideally, in terms of both protective and sealing, this alien technology is far superior to that of the Confederation. So perhaps the infection has already taken hold. Let's die with the truth then. There we go, we got ourselves both of the brass knuckles we wanted. Another hard-fought battle ends. You and Randy double-check that you're the only ones left alive in the entire compartment. Seeing the power armor soldier who died and was revived only to be killed again, he both decide it's best to investigate further. You successfully open the storage compartment on the PCS, taking the remaining supplies and all-spec data card inside. I think we should be able to at least get something useful from the all-spec data card, at least figure out what happened. Confederate DS Exploration Squad 127, 4th boarding report. Unknown structure, multiple scans and tests on materials as construction, so no match with any registered Confederate models, suggesting a new type of alien vessel. The vessel has lost all capability to continue the voyage. Internal environment allowing for free breathing with oxygen levels and pressure maintained at suitable levels. No gases or microorganisms posing a threat to human health detected. Alien course discovered. An unidentified alien body was found during the vessel's exploration. Its structure differs from human and any known alien species, featuring tentacles and fungal structures. The sample has been collected and preserved for future dissection and analysis. Preliminary conclusion: the unknown structure and environmental features of this vessel warrant further investigation. The alien course discovery adds anomaly, necessitating careful handling. Squad must stay alert. A fierce firefight unfolds before your eyes in the image projected by the crystal chip. With a low, ominous hum, a swarm of terrifying spore creatures emerges from the sample chambers on the west side. Their twisted and deformed bodies move forward in discordant poses, faintly glowing with blood-red tendrils that writhe in anticipation. As more and more spore creatures surge in, the mechanical screeches and biological snarls intertwine, making the situation even more chaotic. The security units in the room attempted to suppress the fire and reform the line, but under the relentless assault of the spore creatures, they began to fall apart. As the lighting system is destroyed, only the gunfire from the security units flashes in the darkness. More and more spore creatures surge forward, overwhelming the few remaining units. Forced into close combat, their once sturdy armor begins to crumble under the relentless waves of enemy assault. At the end of the footage, as more and more tendrils of spore creatures twist and crawl up the display, a sudden sharp explosion rings out. The recording on the storage crystal ends there. Your perspective shifts to a Confederate soldier. His comrades are falling one by one, yet their broken bodies begin to tremble. From the severed limbs, flesh oozes out in clumps of spore organisms. One by one, the bodies rise as if manipulated by an unseen force, blending into the enemies who had previously charged the defenses. The owners of the perspective gasp quickly, tension and fear in every breath. The perspective shifts, and you see the same fear in the eyes of the surrounding comrades. These space explorers often go through countless emergency drills before departure, but none of them had ever encountered the concept of reanimation. Something that only existed in Confederate biological labs. When his weapons ran out of ammo, he tried to turn and flee. However, with a muffled thud, a mechanical arm burst through his chest. The footage ends there. The path to the right corridor is blocked by debris and wreckage. You'll need to spend some time clearing it away. Randy, give me a hand over here. You and Randy successfully clear the debris, revealing the dark pitch-black corridor ahead. Something is moving here. Right, the sensors show some kind of creature is moving behind the door. You try to open the door, noticing the edges appear to be wrapped in spore tendrils. Randy, any explosive charges left? Not many, but I wouldn't recommend using too many explosives. We still don't know the exact structure of this vessel. If we had tried those things, it'll be even more trouble. Looks like we'll need to think of another way. After opening the door to the right corridor, you were met with more darkness. It seems like the lighting system in this area has been damaged. Many strange noises reach your ears, like flesh being dragged across the floor. The room's floor was covered in a thick mycelial carpet with the alien flesh remnants wrapped up within it. You quickly checked your gear, preparing to step into the disgusting mycelium carpet. Randy, stay alert. Rudder, I'll cover your 6. Something was rapidly closing in from the darkness. Your body instinctively recalled the skills learned in the military. After a quick evasive move, you successfully dodged the ambush and look up to face the unexpected intruder. God damn, what the hell is this? Before you, severely twisted and grotesque creature, its conical body was covered in chitinous armor, with 4 segmented tentacles wildly thrashing. At the end of the tentacles were sharp claw-like pincers. You also noticed the strange mycelium structure on the creature's body. Perhaps this was a true form of the spore creatures, or maybe it was just one. Infected, yeah. After a bloody battle, you and Randy managed to take down the soft-bodied alien creature covered in a hard chitinous armor. Based on the fight, you leaned towards the idea that this was a crew member infected by the spores. Unregistered alien. Randy, any leads in your mercenary database? Randy? You noticed Randy hadn't responded to your call and was heading deeper into the warehouse. You quickly got up and rushed to catch up. Hey, Randy, what happened? Oh, nothing. I just wanted to make sure there's nothing else hiding in the shadows. Randy pointed toward a distant, dimly lit corridor. You activated your personal light, revealing a row of doors on either side, leading to unknown areas. Some of the doors were already covered in mycelium spores. You approached the class soft-bodied alien creature's remains, spreading its limbs and head from the curled position. The spore cloud from the earlier fight must have been sprayed from here. Randy pointed to one of the alien creature's appendages, where the 3 fused structures at the end were covered in a partially ejected spores. You carefully searched the creature before finding a blank black card inside a pouch on his torso, then placed the card into the scanner. This object had a regular geological shape and contained magnetic components. Analysis suggests it was likely a man-made item, potentially a data or ID card. Part for the residential area, looks like. For safety, you and Randy decide to start investigating the compartments not covered by the spore mycelium. You arrived at one of the doors, searching for a way to open that. Randy, keep an eye on the corridor. I will start with this room. You successfully opened the door. Inside the room appeared to be lined with tiered structures resembling shells. The shelves in the warehouse crisscrossed, forming a complex maze. You were surprised to find a variety of mysterious items, including alien devices you'd seen before, and some even bore the Confederation's insignia. A variety of artifacts were displayed here, scrolls engraved with ancient runes, alien silos, stone tools, and even weapons and engineering equipment. However, the entire shelf was covered in a thick layer of mycelium, turning what should have been brilliant items into a blurred, chaotic scene. Alright, for now, this is where I'm gonna leave it off for today's video. So far, I'm actually really liking the Enigmatic Vessel module. But yeah, that's gonna leave it off for this time. I will see you when we continue with more depersonalization. Until then, bye!